Hey, welcome back. It's Laura at Hyperstamper. This is a redo of a video I did a while back. I did two journals in the same video and it was just too long, so I'm going to separate them out. I also added a bangle to this one, which I love. So let's take a look at this amazing journal. It's a good size one. It is 6 1/4 by 8 3/4, so it's a really good size, larger than average. And I put this antique handle from a dresser on here, just makes it more fun. And this is the spine of a 1907 London Weekly News Edition logbook, and it's this beautiful leather, and it's super worn, which I love, and it's this gorgeous teal color, as well as the original vintage book underneath is the same teal, so I thought they went really well together. And this backing here is newsprint from the 1907 London News. And this is just made up of some really fun lace trim and some vintage chain and some newer chain. And you can actually reuse those if you like. They are just pinned onto there, and a little tiny vintage jewel here. Let's take a look inside. And everything in here is authentic, antique and vintage ephemera. I don't use anything commercial. These are the original pages of the vintage book itself from the storybook Heidi. And look at that sweet little, the goats and little Heidi there, really adorable. This is from the 1920s. It's cursive writing practice from a school child who did her practicing K's and H's. Oh, just lovely. And there's a lovely plate from an antique book from the early 1900s as well. That is from an Italian lessons book. And here, look how wonderful this is. This is a piece of wallpaper trim from the 1920s that would have been hand paint rolled. And that pocket is made out of a 1907 book on China, like bone china. This is obviously from a Needle and Craft annual magazine with a gold front cover. Love it. Antique music sheet. And this is from a 1940s McCall's annual. Look at this wonderful For Baby Lamb. Look at that. How to make a fun box for traveling, how to make a music box. Just the best images. It's so telling of the period, and I love this, the early years, perfect for a journal. Another one of these very rare color bingo cards. This game did not do well on the market, so they pulled it. So there's really just very few of the cards around. More of that cursive writing. And there is the original dust jacket to the vintage book. I kept them together because it's just so precious and colorful. And this is a 100-year-old pressed flower. And we think it's a pansy, my kids and I. Yeah, so I thought that would be pretty in there. There we go. Another children's how to make things book, sort of a craft book, vintage, and a little doily here. And you can stuff some things inside there if you like. Now this is very cool. This is a liquor license from, you can see the watermark there, 1876. And it would have been punched for every month that they had to pay their fee to have the license done. And that is from the United States Internal Revenue Company. Look, it's just so cool. I love it. And it's this really pretty pink color. Each year had a different color. So that's the pink year, we're going to call it. This came from, I know it just looks plain, but it's actually a player piano roll box. I turned it into a tag with some interior spine and a little vintage game scorecard. There, a vintage recipe book page, nice full color one there. And 1904 page here with some beautiful illustrations on it. Some vintage paper there for journaling on. That's the flip side of that children's craft page. And look at this funny, hilarious 1958 Theatre World magazine cover. Isn't that great? Just a hilarious comedy show there. And antique stamp there. And whoop, just a really fun cluster there that I made out of antique paper. And this is a vintage pocket dictionary page with a couple of Pearl Shop receipts from the 50s. Little vintage bird book page here. Magic Garden from the early 1900s. One of my favorite books. I love it. And another journaling tag here made of antique ephemera. And this is a 1926 blank ledger page that you can get actually lots of journaling on there. I love the line colors, the pink and blue lines at the top. And then this is just an antique book page that I just love how aged it is for more journaling there. Just super sweet. There we go. Some tiny little booklet here I made out of some of my scrap antique papers. Tucked into a advertisement for a pharmacy down there. That's a 1920s scrapbook page. It's a bit brittle, so I couldn't fold it. I just put it in straight. And another wonderful children's book page here. And how awesome is this? A vintage hanky. And this was one of the lot that I got where all of the hankies were in their original packaging, so they'd never been purchased. So they're pristine and gorgeous. Yeah, never loved, but I'm sure whoever buys this journal will love it very much as I did when I received them. More vintage stamps here. Oh, this plate, believe it or not, is from the early 1900s, and look at it. It's stunning. Stunning. And that's from an English garden book. And look at this. This is, this was the only one from this deck, the pink vintage card deck, and that's one of the best jokers I've ever seen in a pack of cards. 1930s Monopoly money. And another tag there made out of antique ephemera, children's book pages. Goodbye till we meet again. I thought that was an appropriate last page. So that's going up on Etsy now. I hope you'll go to hyperstamper.etsy.com and you can get first stabs at this book here. And don't forget to subscribe. See you soon.